Black August is an annual commemoration and prison based holiday to remember Black political prisoners, Black freedom fighters, and Black resistance against racial, colonial, and imperialist oppression. It started in the prisons to commemorate the resistance of freedom fighters George and Jonathan Jackson, but soon spread beyond the walls. Today, it is observed all over the country and serves as a strong reminder to continue to fight oppression by any and all means necessary. This is Black August Resistance, Heroes and Sheroes of the RNA 11. In 1968, led by members of the Malcolm X Society, 500 new African Black activists met in Detroit, Michigan to discuss the direction of our struggle against oppression in America. At this meeting, the Provisional Government of the Republic of New Afrika was formed.
It was a culmination of all types of organizations and movements and individuals. They all came together to participate in a 3-day conference in Detroit, Michigan. We were told that there were at least 500 delegates that came. And at the end of that 3-day conference, they ended up coming up with a Declaration of Independence that stated to the United States and to the world, and giving, of course, credence to the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, that we had the right to exist, and utilizing the spirit of self-determination. They were able to declare to the world that we were forming a government. We were getting ready to declare ourselves independent.
Over the years, the RNA and its citizen workers have been infiltrated and attacked on several occasions by the U.S. government. One of the most brutal attacks occurred on Wednesday, August 18, 1971, in Jackson, Mississippi.
My name is Addis Ababa. I'm known for being one of the RNA 11. We were citizens of the Republic of New Afrika, and we were attacked August 18th, 1971 in Jackson, Mississippi by the FBI, police, along with vigilantes that were with them as well.
According to Ababa, an undercover agent was sent to stay with the RNA by the counterintelligence program to justify the attack on the RNA.
Well, there was a guy who had robbed a gas station up in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I think I remember that's his name. And somehow he found his way to Jackson, Mississippi.
We always say the Black Panther Party that they can do anything they want to us. We might not be back. I might be in jail. I might be anywhere. But when I leave, you can remember I said with the last words on my lips, that I am a revolutionary.
These are the voices of New Afrika. These are the voices of New Afrika. These are the voices of New Afrika. Free in the land, and we ain't asking y'all.
Welcome to another episode of the Voices of New Afrika, the show where we educate the uneducated and re-educate the miseducated. I am your host, Brother Prophecy, but of course I'm not by myself. I got my comrade, Kakaya here. Grandmaster Teacher is feeling under the weather, so he wasn't able to join us today, unfortunately. But hey, I got my comrade here. How we doing, Mr. Comrade?
Free the land, free the land.
Unmute yourself.
Free the land, free the land.
All right, yeah. I'm high in spirits and full of pep. You know, anytime we can talk to the family, talk to the community about our liberation and independence, and I'm honored. I'm glad to be here, and thank you all for giving me this opportunity, listening to us on the Voices of New Afrika. Free the land.
No doubt. So it's August. We're slap dab in the middle of Black August, commemoration between for a lot of the resistance against oppression. That's what we celebrate. That's what we acknowledge. That what we honor is a time of reflection, a time of study, a time of training, a time of strategizing, a time to renew our commitment to the struggle of liberation for our people. And there are a lot of historical events that have happened during this time period. At the beginning of the show, we just showed a clip of a mini documentary that we just released on August 18th, which is the anniversary of the RNA 11, the attack on the RNA 11 down in Jackson, Mississippi. That's a story. That is a historical event that most people have never heard about. They will never teach you about that in history. You have an opportunity. Make sure you check it out. A good documentary. We kind of put it together kind of quickly, but I mean, it was good content, good information. You can learn a lot. Basically, the governments tried to attack us, tried to assassinate our leadership back in 1971, August 18th. And they came in just like they did Fred Hampton with the Black Panther Party, Chairman Fred Hampton with the Black Panther Party up in Illinois. Came in a pre-dawn raid, came in shooting with the purpose of killing the leadership, assassination. But this story, and one of the reasons why you never hear about this story is because our brothers and sisters, we fought back and we trained. We're well trained. And at the end of the day, even though many of our comrades, our soldiers, did actually get arrested, but at the end of the day, we lost no life. No life whatsoever was lost on our half. On our part, even though they tried to kill us, they tried to assassinate the leadership of the Republic of New Afrika, but they did. They had to bury their comrade, but so this is one of those times that we didn't get the short end of the stick in that particular battle, and what happens with that is a very interesting and fascinating, intriguing tale, history that we all need to know. Other things going on and that we're celebrating, and as far as Black August is concerning, August 17th, Marcus Garvey, birthday of Marcus Garvey, individual that really laid the foundation of the New African Independence movement. Individuals say Africa for the African, said do for self, black man. The one who put together the red, black, and green flag, who said, the black man needs his own flag. We need our own nation. So we definitely honor the Honorable Marcus Garvey. And if you're in Ida B. Wells City, Memphis, Tennessee, we have our Metropolitan Conference. Matter of fact, today after the show, I'm headed down there. Is at the African Village at 1225 Valentine, I believe that's the address. 1225 Valentine or something like that. Yeah. Exactly. We'll put the address up. Melly Queen probably gonna do it anyway. And speaking of Melly Queen, big ups to Melly Queen. I see you checking in already. Free land comrades and family, how y'all doing today? Thank you all for joining us on the New African Broadcast Association. NABA, love y'all, free the land. Definitely. Thank you for doing everything that you do. And I'm pretty sure you're gonna be down there at the Metropolitan, at the African Village today, Melly Queen. So I'm pretty sure I'll see you down there not too long from now. It's going to start at 3 o'clock. It's 1225 Valentine Avenue from 3 o'clock p.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. You come out and meet the candidates from Ida B. Wells District. Talk to the candidates, talk to them, bring some good questions, some real questions, you know what I'm saying? So we can have real conversation, real dialogue, and you can kind of, help guide us to help guide the community, see what we need to be doing so we can better collaborate within the community, and we can continue the process of nation building and all of that good stuff. And another commercial by, of course, Melly Queen. Thank you for joining us on the New African Broadcast Association. But check out all the shows. Number one, the New African Perspective on Mondays at 1 o'clock p.m. Central Time on Facebook Live. 2, Foundations of the Nation. Last week on Foundation of the Nation, they talked about the New African marriage, man. Y'all, you haven't seen that, go check that out, man. Because those queens, they always be dropping information that we need. We really, really, really do need. So, check them out. Foundation of the Nations, Tuesdays at 10 o'clock a.m. Central Time on Facebook Live. Conversations Between Comrades on Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. Central on Facebook Live. And speaking of Conversations Between Comrades, I got off the phone talking with Atiba. They got him on. They kind of tighten things up at the area in which he is in. So, he's kind of been difficult for him to get back on the show, because his situation, what it is. But we're gonna be down there this November, and we're gonna have a program within the prison system, and we're gonna make it happen. So yeah, Thursday, and then Fridays, the Truth and Power Corner with Sister Melly Queen on Fridays at 5 p.m. Central Time on Blog Talk Radio, and you can get at them at area code 515-605-9782. That is 515-605-9782. Thank you, everybody, for always supporting us. And of course, every Sunday you can holler at us at the Voices of New Afrika. We are actually on the radio at 11:30 to 12:30 Central Time. And how can they see us on the radio, hear us on the radio? You can go to
Tune In Radio.
Yeah, Tune In Radio. WMQM Memphis. In fact, you can just do a Google search for WMQM Memphis at that time period, and you can hear us live on our radio broadcast. We do that before we actually do this. This is why we up here in the studio. This is actually a radio studio. Actually, these mics ain't even on right now. So, but they look good. But anyway, it's all as we were talking about before. The Queen said, Metropolitan Conference, come out and meet the candidates for the IBW districts. That's IBWell district. Celebrate the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey Fellowship and more. We got that going on today, and it's gonna be following the show, y'all. You know what? If I get my stuff working, we might broadcast live from there on Nava. Who knows, man? We'll see what we can do. We will see what we can do. And that time again, save the date. It's that time again. Save the date. March 29th, 30th, and 31st, 2024. Nation Day will be celebrated in Columbus, Georgia, Dr. John Henry Clark Town. Free the land, free the land, free the land. And I just got off the phone not too long ago talking with our comrade Bo Money, Minister of Information Bo Money, from actually down there at Columbus, Georgia. And I'm really excited about going there because they have some exciting things going on. I think they got the PPI week and the whole week of a whole lot of activity. So if you're down in Columbus, Georgia, make sure y'all check them out, man. The PPI, People Party for Independence. They are definitely doing their thing. And you said tune in. It's actually 1600 AM radio. So if you're in Memphis, Tennessee, you can go to the AM station. It's 1600 AM. And you can hear us live on the radio on Sundays, 11:30 to 12:30. So yeah. But anyway, so we've been talking about Black August, Marcus Garvey. What is happening during Black August? You have the Haitian Revolution, you have Nat Turner Rebellion, you have George and Jonathan Jackson liberation attempt to free Brother Comrade George from the prison systems, which really kicked off the whole Black August thing in general. But Comrade, I mean, what do you think? Why is it important, in your opinion, that we acknowledge, celebrate, and we move forward with Black August? And you gotta unmute yourself too.
Yeah. One
of the things that as a nation of people, we have to remain steadfast in developing cultural things for ourselves. Being a part of creating a tradition that will stand the test of time is something that we need to be all a part of. Um, Black August is an opportunity for us to stand steadfast on creating something for ourselves, creating the narrative and making it important to us as a cultural thing that will be a part of our people through the test of time. Um, we've attempted this many times before, only to succumb to uh, the capitalist system, swallowing up, uh, devouring our initial attempts to do something for ourselves. The prime example is Juneteenth has become a part of a greater movement for white people to take over our our ability to create something for ourselves. When you look at June, the month of June, right now, from today forward, it's going to always be a rainbow month, which incorporates gay pride and uh, all of the things that come along with gay pride, which is another example of how they've taken an opportunity for us to galvanize and unify ourselves around a common theme, and they take over it. And and the sad part about being subjugated people in the United States, they found out that if they throw the money at something, they will inevitably uh, create the existence of that. And so they've thrown money at gay pride, and it's taken over our concept of Juneteenth. And if we don't be careful, um, we will allow that to happen with Black August. But right now, they haven't really understood the importance of Black August to us. So let us become the stronghold behind Black August, making sure that it's a part of a cultural movement with amongst our people, and we remain in control of what Black August means, and never to allow them to couple, group, or include something else with our struggle.
Definitely. And
As you talked about, like June is actually being given the label is Pride Month. So the
Right.
whole June is Pride Month. But I think we have to make sure that we are promoting. We're promoting things always from our perspective, regardless of what they do, because we understand that the oppressor nation, these exploiter colonizers are going to do everything that they can do in order to um, oppress and prevent us from gaining our ultimate goals of liberation. And so, I mean, I expect that I understand that we are at war. And if you understand that you're at war, then you expect your enemy to attack you. And that's what's been happening. The enemy has been attacking us on all levels. So if we know that, then we have to act accordingly to that. We have to act like a people who is at war. I want to give a big shout out to everybody out there checking in on Facebook. Make sure y'all drop a comment, man. Drop a comment at least. At minimum, let us know that you out there so we can probably greet you. We can converse with you because this is a conversation between all of us, not just me and Kakayi. As you see, we're missing our elder right now. He's sick under the weather. So, if y'all don't do anything else, give our elder Fadali some love, man. Give Fadali some love because he feeling under the weather right now. We got to make sure that we always cherish and uphold our elders while they are here. Give them their flowers while they are here, because when they're gone, they're gone. All we got is memories and reflections at that point. And the spirit of them, of course, will live on through us. But while they are here, make sure that we always show them the love, respect, and honor that they deserve. Because, Grandmaster Teacher gonna put in a whole lot of work, for many, many, many decades, many decades. Melly Queen said, Black August resistance salute to our fallen and many elder comrade heroes and sheroes. Thank you for the love, dedication, and sacrifice that y'all made for us. Free the land, free the land, free the land, free the land. We owe them to do better than we are doing. definitely owe our ancestors and elders who gave up so much. And then one thing that we have to understand, because the height of our movement, probably the Black Power movement, was in the 60s. Well, as you saw, even in the documentary we just dropped about Black August Resistance, the heroes and sheroes of the RNA 11, the government viciously attacked us. The government went to war with us in the 60s. And when we say went to actual war, just like they went to war with Vietnam and Korea and all of these other places. They went to war with Black people in America, with the Black resistance movement in America, with the Black liberation movement here in America. It was shoot on sight. That's what they did to Assata Shakur. That's what they did to Fred Hampton. That's what they did to the RNA 11. They shot first. It was shoot on fight. On sight, killed, and we were looked at as enemy combatants. That's what's going on. That's why it's a big push to free all our political prisoners, because most of them were locked up under this illegal program in which the government itself says was illegal. The counterintelligence program, which employed sabotage, which employed illegal search and seize, which employed spying on our people, which employed disinformation, which employed deportation, which employed assassinations. This is what the government did. This is what the government admitted to doing. It's not even a question. It's not a conspiracy theory. This is just a fact. And we have declassified documents that just tell part of the picture. Part of the picture. We know that they sent an agent to the RNA 11 house. It was wanted for murder in order to justify raiding the house. They came down there supposedly looking for this guy, even though they didn't even produce a warrant. They never even said what they were there for. They just came in saying come out, and then they started shooting. And when you look at what they did, when you look at what they did and how they did our brothers and sisters, I mean, they came down there with military tanks. They had the FBI, the CIA, the local police officers. They had local vigilante groups down to get the RNA 11. And understand, when you talk about the RNA 11, even to this day, that's a sore spot with them. They cringe at that. They're like, ugh. Because although they did, they brought all of those resources, all of that military power, shooting, trying to kill us, our brothers and sisters was not going. And like I said in the documentary, we didn't bury anybody that night, but they did. So big ups to the RNA 11. We love y'all and we uphold y'all all the time. No doubt. And like I said, man, y'all listening to this broadcast, first of all, drop a like. That'll help us out in some kind of way, I guess. It helps Facebook push this out so more people can see it. And if you know someone who might be interested or might benefit from this type of conversation, drop their name in the comments so they can be tagged in on this and they can share in on the conversation. And just drop a comment yourself. Say hello, check in, say, what's up, what's going on, fam. And I see Meta Queen, you're always very active. Free the land, Baba for Dale. We hope that you feel better. Love y'all. Love you. Salute. Definitely appreciate that. And I know he definitely will appreciate it also. Salute on the documentary, Brother Yera. You did that. It was fire. I appreciate that. We kind of did it on short notice, because we kind of got things, say, man, we need to do something to commemorate the RNA 11, August 18th. What can we do? And it was like, man, I really didn't want to do the documentary because we didn't have that much time, but man, we pulled it together. We all collectively came together and made it happen. So thank everybody for putting in that work on that documentary. And it's going to be more to come. I think we should get together and we should create something that we should air on Nation Day, just like the Queen's sister did with the Daughters of the Revolution. We should create we should do some project that we can premiere at New African Day 2024. I think that'll be pretty awesome.
You know,
Gotta unmute yourself, comrade.
you know,
We got a lot of interesting personas in our movement, um, and that should be something. I would think that you would be the ideal person to put a series of things together, because the brother Malcolm in New Orleans, they gave us that historical layout of how things came to be the way they are in New Orleans, from the slaves, having the French Quarter with the wall, and having the black people only being able to go past the wall if they had a job, but otherwise they had to be on the other side of the wall Congo Park. Remember we went to the, what was that, Congo Park? Um, these little interesting stories about how the French, the story that he told us about the French, the Creole speaking French people, not Creole speaking French people, but the French people that wasn't a part of the Napoleon thing, um, escaped and came to the United States and created the French quarters, that they wasn't allowed to purchase the land in the United States because Napoleon and the French, the pure French white people, didn't like the the French that was controlling the slaves over here. So they sold it to the white people with the Louisiana Purchase. All of those things, all of that historical information needs to be shared with our people on the plight of our people, how things turn out to be the way they are. And in order for us to get it back, we can't ask white people to go back and correct all the bad deeds. Our ancestors told us in 1968, we just need to have our own independent sovereign nation, start off from a clean slate, and implementing the things, the changes, and the things that we need to implement to make sure that our people are all taken care of, despite the travesty that we had to go through to get to that point. And one of the things was scientific socialism as an economic system, and the importance of looking at it from a new African perspective of how that'll work for us, and then not take in the miseducation and the indoctrination of Europeans to tell us that they wouldn't work. And just to give, and I know we've studied it, I'm not going to throw you on the bus because I know that you know this information. But so let's talk about a little bit, we ain't got to go into depth, about how scientific socialism from a new African perspective has nothing to do with the failures of white people in socialism, because of what we would bring to the table with that economic system. Can you expound on that, brother Prophecy?
Well, yeah. I mean, scientific socialism, basically that's the economic system where one, the means of production, the distribution of wealth, and all these things, industry, all these things are, basically in control by the people. But it scientifically mean the scientific part means that every scientific advancement is set to make sure that everything runs efficient. So that's the important part of it, because under capitalism, every scientific advancement, well, first it goes to support the military. That's number one, and after that, it goes to make a profit. Damn if it makes society run better, or if it makes it more, if it's detrimental to society, if it destroys the environment, destroys the land, the water supply. That's why you see a lot of suffering, because capitalism puts profit over everything else. That's why when you look at the houses that are created today, the modern day houses are not even efficient. That's why your utility bill is so high. Why we even have a utility bill? There's no need to have a utility bill where there are all type of alternative energy sources that exist. In the early 1900s, Nikola Tesla put up a tower that will allow people to get free electricity. It wasn't, he did it. It wasn't even a concept. He made it happen. It happened, But
because he's white, he ended up living.
Yeah.
People created that. He'd be dead, and they'll take charge of it.
Yeah, but not only that, but like the technology, it was just table. You know, but when we have like the cellular phones and the wireless phones, well, that came about because of this invention that will allow you to get free electricity. You know, the whole wireless, the whole concept of the wireless, that, you know, that was kind of evolved from those efforts. But the original intent was to get free electricity, free energy for everyone, where you wouldn't have to plug in anything. You just go somewhere and, you know, the electricity will be available for you to be used. And this is something that is, you know, that they did. But still today we get these utility bills. We get Memphis Gas, Light Gas, and Robbers right here in Memphis, and wherever you are, you got the equivalent of some kind of utility corporation that is draining you dry, you know, jacking up prices whenever they feel like it. And that's the nature of capitalism. It's not, you know, it's not based on making sure that everybody gets everything their need, that everything runs efficiently. Really can't even call it a economic system, because economic, the root of that is eco means to eliminate waste, but capitalism creates waste. It creates all these type of things, you know what I'm saying? So that's the very nature of capitalism, and the nature of scientific socialism is the very opposite. So you create your houses, or there are ways you can create your houses that automatically keep your house warm in the wintertime and cool in the summertime. It operates on how just the natural environment goes. You know, we did that in Africa. You know, you can do that on a bigger level with, you know, higher levels of technology. So under scientific socialism, technology is not used to exploit the people. It's used to make life more efficient, so everybody can have the resources necessary to survive. I mean, one thing that's crazy as hell, like in Memphis, Tennessee, like other major cities all over the world, you see all type of homeless people, and then you see abandoned buildings. You see homeless people, abandoned buildings, homeless people, abandoned houses. They got a word for it. They call it bandos. It's so common. Hey, you up there set up in bandos, and little drug dealers, little dope boys, they take these and they set up and they sell drugs out of these houses. But I mean, the crazy thing, if you had a surplus of too many homeless people, and you got too many houses and buildings that are not being occupied, common sense said, okay, let's put them together and we can solve that problem. But under capitalism, no, you can't do that, because it ain't about making sure homeless people have houses. It's not about making sure that these abandoned buildings are done something productive with. It's about making money. It's about making money. So if you can't make money on that house, then we're gonna leave it, let it deteriorate. Let it stay there, because they ain't making money. If you can't make money off this homeless person, you can't make money off this person, then we're just gonna leave him there. Leave him or her there. No matter if you got a whole family, we was going out there feeding the homeless with Brothers Keepers, and the Power also did it also. Power and Future, they did it also.
It wasn't my idea, but I helped out quite a few times. Actually.
Yeah, we saw whole families down there. It was right across from the Mission. Now in Memphis, Tennessee, the Mission is actually a homeless shelter. A lot of people go to the Mission. What people don't realize is, even though it's a homeless shelter, you have to pay to get into the Mission. It's not free.
Ho. But that, I'm saying ho because, I'm older and I have to.
Gotta unmute yourself.
I'm getting older, so when the idea and the thought or an epiphany comes to mind, I got to get it out before I forget. That union mission, you have to pay for it. But guess what? Most people don't have a job. So you wonder, how is they paying for it? Well, they get government assistance. Some of them even get checks. Some of them get money. But the majority of them get food stamps. And guess what? They take them folks' food stamps and say that that's their payment to live there. And they buy all the food with all of these people money and come up with extra money and still get government assistance that pays for the availability of a bed for a particular person. They give them a certain amount, so they're making money hand over fist, because them people don't have a food stamp card. They can't just go out and get something. They have to relinquish the control of them food stamps to them. They paying for all the people food plus a surplus, and they was getting mad at us for doing something for the people that they didn't have to pay for.
And I'm glad you said that because, like you said, when we set up down on Poplar, when we set up, and it was just like a potluck. It wasn't no situation where we up there looking down at people. It was a potluck. Everybody came to eat. As a family, you don't matter if you're homeless, you're poor, whatever. It didn't matter. You had people of different races down. It did not matter. You needed help. Come get some help from the people. And the people right next door at the homeless shelter, which the government pays to help these people, they was very offended by that. They used to be so disrespectful, cussing people out, talking about, if y'all wanna go there with them, just go on over there, but stay. Don't come back over here. You know what I'm saying? Some evil folks out there. So, but that's the very nature of this system. The very nature of this system is exploitation. So even if something is set up that appears to be a service for the community, it still has an exploitive component to it. It finds a way to manipulate the people, to use the people in order to make as much money for a ruling elite class, the bourgeoisie. And that's just the nature of it, and that's why we talk about, a lot of people don't like to deal with don't like to criticize capitalism, because we've been indoctrinated in an educational system that tells you that capitalism is synonymous with freedom, but that's just propaganda. That's propaganda. That's what you get when you're under the system of the oppressor. When the oppressor is teaching you, that's what they're going to teach you. They're going to teach you that they have the greatest system in the world. That there's no system. This is what they say. We're not perfect, but we have the best system in the world so far. And that ain't even how you know. What other systems have you looked at? What other places have you gone to compare that? What is your frame of reference for saying this? A lot of things in the United States, when you put them on a global scale, the United States is a joke. The healthcare system in the United States on a global scale is a joke. You have other countries who are not necessarily socialism, are not necessarily socialist, but they adopt several socialist policies, especially when it comes to things like healthcare. You have universal, like the fact that we don't have, and I'll say the United States government does not have healthcare, does not provide healthcare in the United States. Universal healthcare is a joke. That's a joke.
Yeah, you can go to Canada.
You can go to Canada. Like the people talk about Cuba, how the United States, Cuba's our enemy, and blah blah blah. The Cuban healthcare system murders the United States, destroys it. Destroys. People from the United States go down to Cuba, because they can't afford stuff, and they can go get healthy, and they turn back. They all healthy, feeling good, and all these type of things. Come back, man. I got a brother from Africa, from Somalia. He tell me every time he go to Africa, he come back way healthier. Just going there, because just the environment, the type of things that's available for them to eat, the type of thing, is just healthier. But in the United States, he gained weight, his blood pressure and the hypertension, all this just gets all out of balance, cholesterol, just being over here. Because what they have available is not healthy, is not conducive for a healthy lifestyle in America. And that's because this is a capitalist country, one of the biggest, most powerful capitalist countries on this planet. And they give a damn about that dollar bill, and they don't give a damn about our lives and our condition and all of these things. So ultimately, if we're talking about the liberation of our people, then you can't leave out the economic system, because the economic system is going to inform you, is going to teach you, is going to tell you how exploitive your system, your nation is. You can have all the good intentions in the world. If you have an exploitive economic system, eventually your nation gonna be corrupt.
And we can go on and on about the different disparities that we encounter here in the United States as Africans, African descendants. But the one thing we know that's guaranteed success is that if we're in a position to be responsible for ourselves, to raise our own children, be responsible for ourselves to encompass everything that must be done to change our conditions, then we know that it has to start from the foundation of having a nation our own independent sovereign nation. It starts from a foundation of practicing nationhood. It starts from a foundation to love ourselves and do for ourselves, and implement things, policy, procedures, statutes, laws, institutions, whatever it may come as a need for us to change the condition of our people. If we're left to doing it for ourselves, we'll come up with these same ideas we're telling white folks for over 500 years to do for us. We will automatically do it for ourselves. So we got to begin to understand that the situation has become convoluted. It's too much wrongdoing to us for us to try to continue to tackle each and every aspect of their wrongdoing to get them to change. They've proven to us that it has compounded interest of failure for us, and we don't need to be involved in any equation that has compounded interest of failures. We need to start with an equation that starts with a clean slate where we can put in place the things that are necessary for us, like healthcare, like you talked about, universal healthcare. If we if we all begin to start moving back to our national territory, those things can be um, started, and it can be started on two fronts. One front, letting the older people who still have this idea that it can get done here take on those battles with these white folks for us to keep them off of us while we create a concrete, successful solution that will be unimpeded by the white people, because we'll have our older folks, uh, uh, what you call it, on the front line of that political stuff in their government to keep them at bay, while we behind the scenes, above and below, try to do the things that are necessary to establish a secure foundation, built on bedrock, that even when the time comes and they collapse and crumble, we'll have our stuff in place. So remember the 5 states. I'm a firm believer that securing the border of our country includes 4 other states. Um, but that's neither here nor there. The first thing we got to do is get our internet, our own independent sovereign nation. Um, that's what's going on, people. Uh, it's not something. It's not a fad that you can join the bandwagon. It's a movement called the New African Independence Movement that will not lose. It's just a matter of time that all of us will recognize the truth. But when will you recognize it? Be it now or later, we're going to accept you because you are already a citizen of the Republic of New Africa. We want you to become a conscious citizen of the Republic of New Africa, which means that you're doing what it takes to make sure that we move forward to liberation and freedom, and you're a part of that struggle to do those things that are necessary. That's a conscious citizen of the Republic of New Africa. And I am, and am proud of it, a conscious citizen of the Republic of New Africa. And we're having elections. Is that correct? I was going to say Grandmaster T. Uh, my comrade, yeah, we're having an election in November. I think it's September 31st to November the 3rd. I got to get those numbers right. I think all the dates are in November, so I don't think it's in September. But I will get that information out to you. I know it's in November. This coming November, 2023, we're having elections for uh, the president, vice president, all the elected offices. We have an official district here in Ida B. Wells City, which is in the Kush district uh, of the Republic of New Africa, which is AKA, I like to say AKA Memphis, Tennessee, because it's originally called Ida B. Wells City, just like Jackson, AKA Jackson, is originally Mega Evansville.
Yeah,
So come out and join us.
Want to come back to some of these comments. Melly Queen also said, "Hey, I'm down. It made me want to act on in one of your commercials and documentaries." Yeah, definitely. She's responding to when I was like saying, "Hey, let's continue, make more films, make more documentaries, continue to spread the propaganda. You know, we need to create a movie, man. We can do that. The platforms, everything's out there. I'm open for anybody who want to get involved in creating a feature film movie with the goal to spread information about the New African Independence Movement. Now, it don't have to be just something super conscious. It could be talking about the day-to-day struggles. You know what I'm saying? We can put our flip on it, put our spin on it any kind of way. We can put the message in there any kind of way. You can create a gangster movie and have the ultimate goal of saying, damn, you know what? We need to do for self. We need to create for ourselves. We need to control our communities. We need to control our land. We need to control all of that stuff. So I'm wide open. I got a couple of projects, on the table that I'm about to start working with. But I really want to work. I want to do a project that is, completely controlled by the New African Independence Movement. You know what I'm saying? And I want it to be a collective effort with everybody. So that's whether you got ideas, whether you want to act. Regardless of what you want to do, just hit me up, man. We can work together because we do it in the spirit of the Nguzo Saba. We in the spirit of unity, self-determination, cooperative economics, collective work and responsibility. All those good things. We use our kuuma, our creativity, in order to liberate the people and free the land. So I'm down with that, Melly Queen.
Yeah, we got a lot of comments, so we ain't got about 5 minutes.
Yeah, man, because we got to get out of here soon. Freedom Power said, yes, that documentary was strong. Keep up the good work. And I appreciate that. It's big to have an endorsement from Freedom Power because he is very critical on movies and things like that nature. You know what I'm saying? He real critical on that. So, appreciate that, Freedom Power. Thank you a lot. Susan Rogers, hey y'all guys, free the land to you, Queen, free the land to you. Glad to see you checking in as always. I tell you, the nation has a plan, the 8 strategic elements. Definitely haven't had an opportunity to go. That's something I think we need to start going over on the New African perspective because we're going over the aims of the revolution right now. I think maybe the 8 strategic elements may be the next thing we go over. Yeah, definitely. Thanks for that, Melly Queen. Let me see what else you said. You said yes, they then they get the cash. Talking about the homeless shelter, the mission, the union mission, how they exploit the people, even though they get paid to supposedly help out the people. But they ultimately exploit people for profit. That's just the nature of this system, man. You know what I'm saying? But they will arrest you, and if you try to feed the people for free. Definitely, we have experienced that on several occasions. Been attacked for just doing the work. But it's a beautiful thing, man. Because I know at one point you had like a whole community coming out, fellowshipping together with homeless people, and it was awesome, awesome thing. So everything in America is about exploitation, greed, and capitalism. Definitely. That's why we need to travel. And that's something that's important, traveling, getting outside of your surrounding area, because there's a lot of us, we grow up and we never leave our block. We don't even know that, people think differently in different states. Because I know, once you leave the tri-state area, you have people with different mentalities. I remember I went down to Miami on some videography business, strict videography, doing a music video. I was down in Miami and I just saw people with a different mentality. Just different mentality. And that's not to mention leaving the United States, because you have people with different perspectives. They've been exposed to different things. One thing that I like to do is I like to look at news from different countries. You know, they're just news from different countries, because different countries have their different biases. You know, pretty much media has their own bias basically everywhere you go. But when you look at news from different countries, they don't have the same U.S. bias. So they will cover things that the U.S. don't cover. Even if you look at British news, which is just, you know, like brothers and sisters, you know, the mama of America.
Right.
You'll see things on British news that they don't cover in the United States. The BBC,
Right.
you'll be like, damn, you know, I didn't hear about that in the United States. But, you know, that's because, you know, the BBC don't have the U.S. bias, the same U.S. bias, so they'll cover certain things that you don't. You know, not to mention like Al Jazeera and other countries. You know, the Canada news and, you know, news in the continent.
Right.
So, you know, it's always interesting to get a perspective, a broader perspective, and not just being indoctrinated, having this tunnel vision, and only eating up the information that is given to you by a government that benefits from your exploitation. So that's what's up. Most of us are stuck here and do not travel to another country where things are better. Our food is straight poison. In Canada, Heinz ketchup has 5 ingredients that are natural, but looks at the label on the ones here, and that is so true. There are actually foods that that are consumed in America that are actually banned in other countries. There are actually several foods that just common in America that are banned. Now you can't even sell it because it's poison. You know, that ought to tell you something. It's so-called the land of the free, home of the brave, and blah blah blah.
Well, you know, at one time I was
At one time, I was traveling the country, and I even went to Canada and Mexico, giving presentations. And one of my presentations was about processed food. Um, what people don't know is that many things that Europeans create, they 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 create it off of an example from nature. Processed foods being one of them. They use the natural example of people taking raw food, vegetables, fruits, or whatever, uh, eating it in their mouth and chewing it, which is the process, right? And as it goes through your mouth and you process it through the act of chewing, you extract the processing. All processing extracts the vitamins and minerals, the nutrients out of the food. It goes, it's distributed through the body because it has no way out. And all of the processed food comes out as what? Waste. So they tell us that they take good natural food from us, the pickers, the crop, the growers, and all of that, put it in a factory, process it. We know that when you process something, you take all the nutrients out of it, and it comes out as what?
It's waste.
Oh, but they tell us it's processed food when they do it. But when we do it, nature and everything else lets us know it's waste. But when they process it, they tell us it's processed food. See, the indoctrination of our children, which we were children at one time, gives them the opportunity to feed us anything, even information. So when we come out of this system, institution of education, we believe what they tell us believe. We eating processed food. But when you go to McDonald's, Wendy's, Taco Bell, any other ones, and you're eating processed food, just remember you heard it here first on the Voices of New Afrika that you're eating waste. And why you got those big stomachs and all of that is because you're full of. I ain't gonna. Oh, we not on the air because you're full of shit. That's what it is. You're full of shit. Get back to the fundamentals of taking care of ourselves and understand this. When we have obtained our national territory and it becomes our possession, just remember It was said in 1968, it comes from our people, the New African Creed. And that is, I believe in the Malcolm X doctrine that we must organize upon this land and hold a plebiscite to tell the world by a vote that we are free and the land independent, and that after the vote, we must stand ready to defend ourselves, establishing the nation beyond contradiction.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely. I'll go back to some of the comments. But yeah, I appreciate that. So basically, you eating processed foods, you just eating shit. Yeah, definitely. Let me see.
Chicken nuggets, chicken, all that shit.
We're gonna say that fake ass dollar on top of all of that. That's right.
Fiat money.
That fiat money, which ain't even real money, not even backed on gold or diamond or silver, not backed on anything real. It's just fake. And any dollar, any money that is put out there is really dead. Because every dollar in circulation is owed back to a bank. And even if you took all of the money out of circulation and paid it back to the banks, you still be in debt, because each one of those dollars, there's interest owed on it. So it's a BS system. It's a game, man. It's a game. Freedom Power said there are European countries that blow America out the water. And I said water. I didn't say water. I said water. In terms of free healthcare, free education, guaranteed income, etc. Switzerland and several others. Socialism works, though it is not perfect. That's correct. And the thing about it, for the record, those countries are not really socialist countries. They're just countries with socialist elements to it. You know what I'm saying? Because we really don't have a real example of a pure socialist country, because when socialism gets too strong, capitalism attacks viciously. But yeah, that you're absolutely right. Look at Switzerland system. Look at Switzerland's prison system. These countries that they have just about almost a zero crime rate. And
Apartments. I saw a documentary with dudes in jail in Switzerland.
Yeah, he said, thank y'all for joining us on NABA. Definitely. New African elections are November 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Thank you, Melody Queen Mother Melody.
Definitely. Exactly, the BBC channel. And she laughing at something, and I'm guessing she laughing at the fact that Comrade Kakai said, y'all eating that processed food, you're full of shit. So it is so if you're talking to somebody who eating that processed food and they start talking crazy, you are perfectly in your rights to say you're full of shit. Literally. Definitely, man. We've almost been here for an hour, and this is one of them times where we actually gotta get off within an hour, because it is 2:00, 2:05.
Valentine 12:25 Valentine.
Yeah, we gotta do that, and as well as some other. I got a busy day. I like it when I'm busy, because you know what I'm saying. If I get busy, I don't get busy doing a lot of BS. I ain't got time for BS. So if I get busy, it's doing something that is productive and beneficial for at least my family or the people, somebody or both. Definitely. You said. Freedom Power said, preach, comrade, eating waste, full of shit, and behaving like the Walking Dead. I appreciate that breakdown of the process of eating and processed food. No doubt, agreed, 100%. Definitely eating crap and behaving like we the Walking Dead. Walking Dead.
Yeah,
in the
because
community.
when you
Eating, when you get the nutrients out of your body, when you're getting the nutrients out of what you've eaten, if it's all shit that you get nutrients out of it, you are going to end up walking like the Walking Dead, because you're going to be getting toxins out of the shit that's left in your system. And that's a problem. And unfortunately, it took me to my 40s before I started getting the right information. But I want to make sure that I ensure that not too many of us have to wait to the 40s. Now that I've gotten the information, I want to make sure that our children are homeschooled. They benefit from the COVID-19, and we get a chance to reach out and touch our children while they're being more homeschooled.
You said they benefit from COVID-19.
I'm saying
the positive forces that emerged out of COVID-19 was that we were forced to homeschool our kids, and I was able to be in contact more with our children because it was more of them being homeschooled, because they're not allowing me in the public school system to say what I have to say. And unfortunately, I had to go to the homeschool, which is fortunate for the children and me to get that word out.
Definitely. So we're gonna go and get out of here. Melly Queen said, great show, y'all. Thank y'all. Another great show. Love y'all. Thank y'all again for joining us on NARBA Free the Land, Free the Land, Free the Land. In other words, Melly Queen, which is acting as program director today, is saying, wrap it up, y'all. We gotta go. So we appreciate everybody for tuning in. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for joining us every week. And we're gonna get up out of here, y'all. We love y'all. We're gonna leave y'all with our battle cry. That is, free the land. Free the land, free the land. No, we got a delay, so that's why it always be awkward when we trying to do that. But we'll see y'all again next week, fam.
America, full of promises. Time to cash them in. You run from it quick. You never keep your word. I learned from it quick. You keep abusing me. You dumb. Europeans murdered 98% of the indigenous population right here in Turtle Island in order to steal the land. An entire nation of African people were captured and forced into a brutal system of chattel slavery just so they could work and cultivate the land. All wars are fought over land, not over terrorism, not over religion, not even to win the hearts and minds of the people, but for the actual land and the resources within the land. So it is safe to say that land is the foundation to all freedom. So if we truly want to be free, then our struggle is for land. Free the land.